What's cool, we got like and a few people.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. I'm going to give everyone a second to get logged in and then we'll get started.
Well, yeah, let me know when you want me to do my screen share. Okay.
Sure thing.
Otherwise, I'll just start going and I'll totally forget it. I've done it before.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you'll put your screen share up after Coleman or
Okay.
while Coleman introduces you, you can go ahead and put it up. All right, we can
Oh,
get
okay.
started. All right, everyone. Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from today. Welcome to today's webinar, co-hosted by the New York Oracle User Group and Oracle partner Viscosity. We've got a great presenter for you today. He is from my team, and I'm so thankful to have him here. He's an Oracle ACE director and also is going to be showing you one of his coolest tools that he's been working on while here at Viscosity. This is a live webinar, so feel free to submit questions in the Q&A field. If you need to get a hold of myself or Coleman from NYOUG, you can use the chat box. But if you've got questions for Craig today, use the Q&A and he'll get to them as he can or after he's finished with the session. All right, so my name is Monica. I'm the director here at Viscosity North America, and we are a full Oracle Stack consulting company. I'll tell you a little more about us later, but co-hosting with me from NYOUG is Coleman Leviter and Rob Edwards. Coleman is going to tell you a little bit, real quick, about NYOUG.
Thank you, Monica, for that kind introduction. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you all for joining us in our first webinar. And
Yeah.
of course, uh,
Yeah.
being with Craig Shallahamer, who's going to go over Shane, but you'll hear about it, and this is the moment. Anyway, New York Oracle Users Group, we're going to try to have some on-site meetings in 2026. Stay tuned for more to come. Anyway, next slide, please. You can reach out to us on nyoug.org as well as the various other places. And I'll let that go for now. Monica, please go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I think I recognize a good amount of you logged
Mhm.
in today, so I will try to make this quicker than normal. But if you're not familiar with Viscosity, these are the three main pillars that we are built upon: data, apps, and cloud infrastructure. Anything across the bottom here that you see, we offer upon all three pillars. If you see anything in here that speaks to any pain points you have, please let me know. I would love to help you out in any way I can, or at least point you in some directions or free resources that could help you and your team. On this slide, I always like to point out a couple familiar faces, hopefully familiar faces, at least this one today. um, these are some of our consultants and executive staff that travel around the US and around the globe presenting on Oracle technologies, database technologies, and AI. So hopefully you can follow these folks. They're either on Twitter or Blue Sky, pretty much all of them blog, write books, etc. So just wanted to let you know if you see one of these folks, these are part of our Viscosity team. Okay, and on this slide, I always like to point out just one major thing that we do, Oracle License Management. If you are ready for any renewals or if you're looking at new products, that's software, hardware, whatever, I always recommend going through a partner like Viscosity. If you have your own partner, make sure you're using them. Partners just make this process so much easier, and we can also make sure you're getting the deepest discounts you can, and then we can also follow up with you to make sure you're using everything correctly. I know some partners, including Viscosity, will also help you with internal audits if you need before reaching back out to Oracle. Make sure you're in compliance with everything. All right. And then finally, www.orapub.com is where Viscosity hosts all of their recordings of webinars, so you can go find them all there, as well as a lot of other training tools. And you can also sign up for live virtual training there as well. There's a free membership you can sign up for if you're not already, and you can look through tons and tons of free recordings from, gosh, I don't know how many years, but there are already a lot for each of
Hundreds.
these last couple years. Yes. So definitely go in there. You can search through them and find webinars like this on there. If you sign up for free live training on there, you'll also have access to those live training classes that you registered for. But as always, you can also find NYOUG co-hosted webinars with Viscosity on nyoug.org. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Coleman to introduce Craig. And Craig, you can get your screen share up.
Thank you, Monica. I'll make this very brief introduction for Craig because he really needs no introduction. Craig is a co-founder of OraPub and Viscosity's applied AI scientist, having worked with Oracle technologies since 1989. Craig Shallahamer is a leader in the fields of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and Oracle database performance tuning. He's received recognition as an Oracle ACE Director for his valuable contributions to the Oracle community through his technical expertise and leadership. Craig is an active participant in Oracle user groups, frequently presenting at conferences and serving as a board member and volunteer. Thank you, Craig, for volunteering today. I want to thank the participants. You're going to be in store for a fantastic webinar today given by Craig. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Hey, thanks, Coleman. You guys can hear me okay? Everything good?
Yes, yes.
All right. Yeah, I recognize some of the names. I love scrolling through the list and seeing people. So, yeah. My name is Craig Shallahamer. I work with Viscosity, a founder of OraPub, and I'm the applied AI scientist. I don't think I have a slide about myself. My background started with Oracle performance tuning, database, upgrades, installs, all that kind of stuff. And then I started to transition into more like capacity planning, forecasting work. And then that just naturally led in when it became available, machine learning, and then the AI stuff just went. So I jumped as quick as I could into that whole world. I just love it. And a lot of things I can't show people because it's not ready, or I can't like legally allowed to show some stuff. But Shane is one way that I can kind of show people kind of what you can do, and it's actually useful too. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I'm not really going to talk about the AI itself. It's more about what the title is, how to actually solve real problems. So I have a number of short demos I'm going to show you just to kind of get your idea, just to kind of spark some ideas about how you might actually use Shane. And I'll give you a little bit of background just about Shane itself. So this is what you saw, or if you actually read what we're gonna be going through. One of the main differences with Shane is that it's not just like a Q&A chat bot. Shane is supposed to, if you're working right, he's supposed to actually like ask you questions and actually lead the analysis. So then you'll just go get what Shane is asking for you to get, that kind of thing. And so if you use it from an analysis perspective, you'll see Shane kind of he'll take the lead, and he's going to lead you through some pretty well-defined, I'll say, steps. But it's always a little different, though. I mean, it's an LLM, so it's not deterministic the way it's all put together. So. And I'll tell you more about Shane. I'm not going to read through that stuff for you. So, the AI boot camp, gosh, that's coming. That's about a month from now. So I got to get that all set, ready to go. But I'm going to be doing it. It's a 3-day, 2 hours per session, and then I'll be around for a half hour for to do the workshops with people if they want some extra help with that. So you can find out more of that at orapub.com. That'll be the first offering I'm going to give with that. I did a larger version to a customer, and it went good. So we decided to actually offer it to anybody in kind of a different format. So that's coming up. Okay, so what's the plan? First thing, there's a lot of AI chat box and stuff out there. So what makes Shane unique? Well, it's huge, and so I'm going to talk about that very quickly right away, and then I'm going to show you how to actually get online. so you can actually start using Shane. A real quick little intro about the UI. I mean, it should be pretty intuitive. And then I'm going to take you through a few demos. And I actually recorded these yesterday just to make sure, well, so I could speed them up. Really, that's one of the reasons. And I'll tell you some other reasons as we get into it. Um, so the first one we're going to start with is your classic AWR. You got an AWR in your hand. What do I do? And so I'm gonna lead you through that. We won't go all the way to the very end. We don't have time for that, but you'll get a sense and a flavor about how to interact with Shane in that kind of situation. And then we're gonna do one like, oh, I just got a bad, I got a bad situation here, Shane. What do I do? And you start a conversation like that, and Shane will just kind of lead you through some of that. So, and then I have a couple more short ones. But on one of those, we'll sure, I'll just show you kind of how to go down that rabbit hole with Shane about just internals and technical stuff, because Shane knows a whole lot of stuff. So, all right. So I think that is about it. Yeah, we're going to get going. So, anybody, okay, you actually don't even have to have an OraPub membership right now to use Shane. It's a completely different logon system too. So actually, I should mention that if you're an OraPub member, you don't have to use your OraPub email, but you will have to authenticate yourself. We do that so people just don't like abuse Shane kind of a thing. So, all right. So let me get a browser window up right here. And I'm going to shrink this one. Yeah, if you have questions, go ahead and put the QA in. I think I'll be able to see that. So, but if not, somebody just interrupt me and we'll go from there. So these are kind of recorded demos in the background you actually see on my screen. So I'm just going to type in, just put surfer, and it's actually surfershane.ai. So see, I'm already authenticated. So I'm going to log out right here. So here we go. So if you just type surfershane.ai, this is what you're going to see. So okay, so what's the whole Surfer Shane thing? Okay, let's just get that out of the way. I surf. I used to surf a lot, and I thought, it's AIs are so boring, and they always have some kind of a personality, whether you even think about that or not. So I thought, well, let's just lean into that and make it kind of fun. And so I said, well, let's just make it Surfer Shane, make it something different. And then we got the URL, and boom, it just works. So that's kind of where that came. And there are some settings so you can throttle down the surfer persona. Because if like, for example, if English is not your first language, you're not used to that kind of speak, that slang, it gets a little distracting. So you can kind of throttle Shane's personality down. So, but I kind of missed one thing before we get into the UI, I wanted to do. What makes Shane unique? Okay, so I'm looking at my notes here. So one of the things that makes Shane so unique is it's based on what Shane knows. A bunch of stuff that Shane knows about is not available publicly. So what that means is, like OpenAI and all the LMs, they don't know a lot of this stuff, at least from the knowledge that came from Viscosity and OraPub. So Shane knows the Oracle time model like really good. Okay, he knows Shane. Because I know the time model really good, I basically gave Shane like this knowledge that is not anywhere that I know of, like all the math and the equations of Oracle's time model. I took the time to give that to Shane. And so what that means is if Shane knows like an equation and he has like an objective, he'll be able to figure out that, oh, I need this variable, I need this information. So then he will prompt you for it. So that's why Shane is so aggressive in actually asking you questions. So not only does he know, about DB time and, DB CPU and all that, and wait events and all that, he also knows an Oracle time-based analysis, which is like database time analysis. So Shane will you'll see that happen. Shane will aggressively ask you for metrics about Oracle's time. What's Oracle doing with the time? And then I won't say assumptions, but it'll make, it'll infer things, and then it'll ask you for more information. The other thing Shane's going to do is that, if you've been to like my class, especially my AWR class, I talk a little bit about what I call it you got to call it something. So I called it the OraPub 3-circle analysis. And you will see Shane do this. So this is kind of the progression. There's 3 circles. We focus on the analysis of Oracle, and that's the Oracle time-based analysis. And that's more focused on the internals of Oracle time, that kind of stuff. And then we have more of the application focus, which is like SQL and the application design. Shane will try and cover that as well. And then there's the operating system perspective as well. Like, what's the bottleneck at the OS? And so Shane will ask you for that. So he's going to put all 3 of those together. So he kind of has a I'll say level or multi-perspective view of what's going on in your system. And this is what I teach people how to do in my classes. And it kind of saves your butt because you're looking at it from different perspectives, just not one. So Shane knows all about that. And Shane even knows about at this level, which is, I call this the Oracle work. Well, I don't know if I did that. Oracle time. Yeah, it's a unit of work, time-based analysis. For example, usually we look at like Oracle time at the session level or the instance level, that kind of thing. But you can also, if you do this right, you can look at time from a little piece of work perspective, like one logical IO. So how much CPU or how much wait time is associated with one little piece of work? And you do the math, and then you can do all sorts of queuing theory type forecasting if you kind of go down that path. And Shane actually knows about that. And so if you work with Shane, you might notice he might say, well, gosh, if you can reduce the logical IOs for this statement by 10%, well, then you can expect this kind of behavior, this kind of improvement. He'll do that. And he can do that because he knows about this unit of work time-based analysis. Okay. Yeah, actual equations. Shane knows all about that. So that's why Shane is unique. I mean, Shane is not a SQL tuning. Don't do that. In fact, I don't know how I actually limited how much input you can just throw into Shane so you don't blow him up. But if you've identified the SQL statement and you're trying to tune a SQL statement, you can try giving Shane the explain plan. But if you want to just paste in the whole SQL statement, don't do that with Shane because he probably won't be happy with the response on that. Okay, so that's a quick intro on like what Shane actually what makes Shane unique. Let's see. Oh, here we go, Robbie. Does Shane leverage must articles? I do not have access to that. Nope. So if you're looking for something specifically and it's not publicly available, also, then it's actually not going to know about that. That's a really, really good question. Shane will always try and use the knowledge that it has. Oh, and I didn't actually tell you what the knowledge. Shane knows all OraPubs and Viscosity's performance-related material. So that's books, webinars, all of our online teaching. No, it's all transcripts, right? PowerPoint presentations, blog posts. He knows all of that. Okay, so it's all in a vector, in a vector database. It's all in there, and Shane has access to all that kind of stuff. So, the priority is I tell Shane, use your knowledge first. That's because we trust that, and then you can go out if you want to get some additional information like outside of your domain. But I tell him to change the wording so he's not going to be as confident that way. And sometimes he behaves, sometimes he doesn't. Okay, great question. All right, so you need to sign up, and it's super simple. It's classic sign up. You can do username, password kind of thing, or you can just use your Google ID for that, or, your Gmail account, which is what I do. So I'm going to log in, and since we're using like Auth0 is the name of this, if I click continue with Google, it should know right who I am and just go. Yeah, and so I'm actually in already. Okay. So it's pretty straightforward. There shouldn't be anything, weird about this at all. So if you want a new chat in the upper left right here, you got that. You got your thread history. You can delete and you can rename them. So that's, pretty standard stuff. I don't have any folders or subfolders or, stuff like that. On the bottom right here, in fact, let me make this bigger. Okay, so you can see it. And I hope, and now that way those background screens. Oh, there you go. Let's see if I make Shane a little bit bigger. Shane works on mobile too. Looks super good. I just love the whole UI and design and stuff. Um, all right, so click down here. That's your display name, which you can set. So that's who you're logged in as. That's my Gmail account. Your free plan. Everything's free right now. We haven't had any issues, so we don't have to, get all psycho about it. Really, all that's pretty straightforward. The settings I'm going to click on, that's important. So this is kind of fun for me. You can actually change how Shane will respond, not only from the surfer persona perspective. You can click that on and off if you actually want to. I mentioned that before, but this is if oh yeah, Shane is basically a RAG application, retrieval augmented generation. So these parameters you can change to affect how Shane is going to do all the processing to get that information and then present it to you. Really, the only thing, unless you like really want to experiment with Shane, is to change the maximum words to respond. Okay. If you put it really small, Shane sometimes will not respect that. It's almost like he's thinking that I can't, do what I need to do in 10 words or something. But you can throttle that so you can that way you don't get a ton of stuff, response back from Shane. But these are pretty good settings. I think this might actually be the default for this. I'm not going to explain what all these are. Shane does not use any MCP technology at all. Good question there, Robbie. Well, Robbie, you get two questions. You're getting up there on the limit. The Shane doesn't do property graph. Property graph is going to be like the next thing I put into Shane, and it always improves the responses anytime I've added property graph, graph to with a RAG application. So, but that's not in yet. I thought of that because there'll be.
Greg, I think your mic went out.
Monica Young,
There you go.
are we good?
Yes.
All right. So if you want to change your display name, otherwise it shows up as just your email. You can delete all your chats and you can delete your account. So that's kind of where we're at on that. Okay, so let's just go. What I'm going to do is, you can just type anything. Hey, how's it going, Shane? How's it going, Shane? And you just click, and you'll see the bottom right, a little short kind of like boom, boom. That tells you Shane's working. And you can see right away, hey, dude, stoked to chat. I'm hanging intense. See, it's pretty intense surfer persona right there. So if that bothers you, then just flip that off on the setting. Shane should always try and divert you to talk about Oracle performance. That's kind of what he's supposed to be doing. So he knows about latches and mutexes and stuff like that. So he has quite a bit of knowledge right there. Okay. So the first demo I want to do for your guys is I have an AWR report in hand. So I got a bunch of demos here. So I got to make sure I look at the right one. In fact, I'm going to minimize Shane's right here. The reason I recorded these is, in fact, I actually have the AWR report in the demo, so I don't need to show this right here. Yeah, the reason I recorded these is I'm using Cohere, just, like OpenAI and all that, Oracle partners with the Cohere. And I use them for their LLM because it's relatively inexpensive and it's pretty fast and it's pretty good. And but I don't have control over their data center, and sometimes the vector embeddings don't go really fast and it slows stuff down, and Shane can time out if that actually happens. So that's why I just recorded these. So, and you actually see in one of these, Shane's going to say, man, I wiped out, and that's because he timed out because he didn't get a response back from Cohere quick enough. So all right, so I'm just going to go through this and then I'll kind of talk you through it. So essentially, you can see that at the bottom of the screen. I'll make this a little bit bigger so I can get this as big as I can for you guys. Okay, I said, hey, Shane, I've got an AWR report in my hand with the real poor Oracle Performance System. How can you help me? Okay, and this is the AWR report on the right here that I'm actually using as reference for this. Okay, and so I just press return. Shane's going to do its thing. And these should be really quick. Excuse me. I did that for the demo. Okay, but it can take anywhere from like 5 to hopefully not 15 seconds, but hopefully by 10 seconds, Shane will actually respond. So it's going to respond pretty quick in the demo. So don't expect that. Okay, he'll be like highly upset about it. Then it's not as good as I make it seem right here. So Shane talks in the surfer persona right here, and says, "Hey, share with me that 1 hour database time background." Okay. And so he talks about kind of some things that he would be really helpful. And usually he says, "Hey, well, this is the next step," right? Which is probably a repeat of something up here, but he wants to get real specific. Share the AWR database time breakdown. So that's what I'm actually going to do here. So I'm going to scroll down till I get to like the top 10 foreground, weight events and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna give that to him. I said DB, so I'm going off of. I'm pointing with my finger. I'm going off of like database DB time right here, which is foreground process CPU. So it's about you can see the time right there. So I'm actually going to type that. And I'm going to give that to Shane. Okay. And the top 3 events are DB file sequential read, DB file scattered read, and I said top 3, and I only gave him 2. It's like checking your proofing your work. Well, Shane was able to handle that. I wanted to give him the NQ there, so I did that. He says, "Hey, bro, looks like you're caught it in an IO barrel roll." Comes up with this stuff. So, and he kind of repeats back what you typed in, which is really good. And he gives us some insights about this. So, if you're not familiar with what the weight events are, Shane will give you like a little bit of help. And you can always ask Shane, "Hey, what is the DB file sequential read?" And it'll tell you about it. Okay. And you can just keep going down, down, down as deep as you actually want to go. Okay. So we have some recommendations right here. And usually you'll see that he's going to be talking about Oracle, the operating system, and SQL. That's those 3 circles, and you'll kind of see this in what he's doing right here. So now he really wants me to share the average wait time for sequential reads. So Shane's wants to do this. He's looking for this number, this 11.17, because that's an indicator on how well the IO subsystem is actually responding. And if you're wondering, well, why are you asking me that? You just ask Shane, "Hey, like, why are you asking me, whatever it is?" And Shane will actually tell you that. Okay. So I'm going to enter some of that in. Oh, what did he want to know about the? Okay. I decided to give him the OS CPU stuff on that. Why did okay. That was one of his recommendations. So I decided just to give him this. Okay. And so on the AWL report, you can see the user time system and wait for IO. Now, I just typed this in like pretty much exactly as it's shown right here, just to see if Shane can actually decipher that. Okay, because it's kind of a weird format, right? So there's our user time. It's a percentage system wait for IO and then idle. Oh, and I said the average wait time sequential reads is at 11.17 milliseconds. Okay. And then Shane's and then he talks about it. And he's like, "Hey, man, your idle time is 86%. That's like, that is," he says, your Oracle engine isn't stuck in a rip current waiting for CPU cycles. So Shane knows that, hey, it's, the wait times are taking relatively long. We got tons of CPU. So we're going to go down the path of physical IO. And that's the path he's actually going to lead us down right here. And he actually tells you, um, he says, "Hey, what's the top SQL that's causing the DB file sequential reads?" Okay. And so let's see what I give him next. Okay. Oh, it's okay. So I clicked on the SQL, right? And then here's my list of how the AWR report reports it. But I said, "Hey, I don't have SQL sorted by DB file sequential reads, but there are other categories. Like, which one should I use?" Now, okay, I don't know if you've hit this, but this happens a lot with an AWR report. Okay, you see a wait event, but then how do you know what the associated SQL statement is that's actually like related to all that wait time? Well, Shane's kind of helping us out here. Okay, and he actually tells me, he says, "No worries. So we're since we don't have DB file sequential reads, as one of the one of the categories here in the AWR report, I'm basically asking, well, which one of these can I use? And sometimes, like did here, actually gave me the SQL to pull the data directly out of the AWR tables, which is actually pretty cool. So, oh, can Shane compare two AWR reports? Yeah, you could just. I haven't tried that, but you should be able to do that. Yeah, you'll have to give them the numbers and everything. I have. Did I have uploaded Shane? I think I've tried to copy and paste stuff, and sometimes he's able to read that. He doesn't. He can't. He doesn't do optical character recognition yet. Okay, but that's on my list too. So, but you could try that. I haven't done that yet. Here we go. So let's see. So the next step. So Shane basically says, based on your situation that you're telling me about, for the SQL statistics, look at the ones that are ordered by physical reads or elapsed time. Okay, which is right on. So he got that right. All right. And so I went down to elapsed time, and there's the top. So the top two SQL statements you can see from a elapsed time perspective, they're the big ones right there. And so we got those. And now I'm going to go down to the physical IOs, and they happen to be the top two as well. So this is like bingo. So I found the top IO wait time and top elapsed time. SQL, which dominates their category. Yeah. And they're the same ones. So obviously, so we hammered it, and then he'll just kind of keep going down the path here. So anyway, that's just one example with an AWR report. Shane should be pretty good with an AWR report analysis because he's listened to a lot of my classes, webinars, and books and stuff like that. Okay. So that's one. There you go. So that's one of them I wanted to show you. And so let's go to another one right here. We have more time, so we can do. Let's see. Next, I wanted to show you. Oh, just generic help. I called it. Let's see. No, it must be this one. No, hold on. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, this is one I want to show you. We've got some more questions here. I'll get right to that. This. Okay, so what's the question? Can I use ChatGPT to analyze an AWR report? Yeah, sure you can. Yeah, it's not going to know, the things that make Shane unique. It's not going to know those. But yeah, you can use it. You can use any LLM. Not how good is it going to be? That's something you got to figure out. How good does it work for you? Yeah. Okay, here you go. General. Hey Shane, I got a big performance problem on my key Oracle system. My manager's not pleased with my work, and I'm really struggling. You can tell him anything. It's pretty funny. Can you help me? It's like, hey man, help me, Shane. Whoa, dude, sounds like you're caught in a gnarly rip current. I think he might have said that before. He needs to get a little more variable on this right here. He's like, no problem. First things first, let's dive into Oracle. And notice he mentions, the three-circle method or analysis right there. What I would really like Shane to do right here, he kind of talked about it. But oh no, he didn't actually. He said just try the AW. Okay, yeah. Anyways. I'm just telling you too much here. But essentially, it's the same kind of thing. He's going to bring us down the three circles, and we're going to start in that Oracle circle, and that's what he wants the database time and the top weight events for again. And so that's kind of what we just did before. So he's automatically just leading me down that path. Okay. And so I just give him the breakdown. In fact, I just made this up right here. I just said, let's say database time is 83%, or excuse me, DB CPU is 83% of database time. And again, if you're not familiar or comfortable with what DB CPU is, just ask Shane. And you can say, well, how does it relate to database time? And Shane will actually tell you about that. Okay. And if you're not sure, like, is that true? Just ask Shane, are you sure that's really true? That's actually a good way to actually interact with Shane if you're not confident or really sure that he gave you the right response. Because sometimes, just like any other LLM, will actually say, yeah, you're right. That's not entirely correct. Like, great, but that's something that, you should actually do if you're not sure. So I told him the top weight event was latch cache buffer change. and that's 10% of database time. Okay. So that gives Shane some information. Okay. And then he's going to, he's doing in his head, whatever, he's going to start asking me, some more questions right here. And so the next action, if you read through this, he's got that unit of work time based analysis right there. So look at that. He's doing a little prediction right here. Nice. Oh, I like that. I didn't even notice that when I read this before. That's pretty cool that he was able to do that. Okay, share the OS CPU utilization. Now, Shane knows that, if you just look at the Oracle metrics, you can get yourself caught in a corner, or you can just make really bad recommendations or go down the wrong path. So one of the easiest ways to confirm like what's really important is just to get the operating system CPU utilization, and that's on an AWR report. And of course, there's other ways you can get that too. If you're not sure where to get it, ask Shane. He'll tell you actually where to get that. Okay, so I'm probably going to type in some AWR. No, I didn't want. Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't give him the data or the OS CPU utilization. I wanted to say, hey, what's the cache buffer chain? Okay, because he talked about it, but I wanted to know more. And so then he actually, what they are, what's the purpose, and what are these latches? Like, how does that relate to these cache buffer chain things? And so I'll actually talk about that. I love this one. Short chains is happy Oracle. I've never seen him do that before. So he did a really good job on this. Okay. So now he's saying, hey, okay, let's get that OS CPU utilization. So let's see if I actually give him that. Oh, is he going? Oh, there we go. Oh, I wonder if that's it. That for the demo? I thought I was going to give him. Oh no, I just stopped with the drill down, and that was it for them. All right, so I didn't give him that one. So what I was trying to do there is just to show you can make up a problem. You just want to practice and learn stuff, or you can get a real AWR report. You can start with just man, I don't know what to do, and just Shane will kind of help you go down the actual path. And if you don't know what a word means, or like what is the cache buffer chain, just ask Shane, and he'll actually tell you about it. And then if you're not sure, then just ask him, hey, are you really sure about something? And then he'll, in a sense, kind of go through it, and he'll check what he's already told you, right? Because he knows, he's aware of the conversation. He does really good with those. Okay, wow, we got more questions here. Is Shane smart enough to tell me if the system is CPU bound or IO bound? Yeah. Yep. He's pretty good at that. Yep. As long as you don't have AIX, okay? If it's AIX system, it's really hard to tell. So, in fact, it'd be interesting if you ask Shane, hey, I'm on AIX, and, I'm kind of curious what he would say on something like that. Okay, let's see. We got another one here telling me, I love this one. Telling me, this is the classic situation where everybody's telling you what to do. And you're like, well, who do I believe? And I got two different scenarios. One is a vendor telling you to buy more CPUs. I love that one. And then another one is, people are telling me what the bottleneck is or whatever, and what I should do. And you're kind of confused, and you don't want to do something that you shouldn't be doing. Okay, so let's go. Let's go down this one. Both of these are pretty quick too. Hey, Shane. Someone told me my Oracle system is slow because of latching. Can you help me validate this claim? That is such a good question. People say, well, because everybody has an opinion, and most people, they just start giving you solutions, and you're not even comfortable what the problem is. It's just like this stuff like that happens all the time. And so Shane's going to help you out. Says, hey, dude, this goes down this could totally bog down your Oracle system. Yeah. And so again, he's just, in this case, again, he's going for the database time breakdown. And so you're going to go down. And I just actually made this up. And in fact, this kind of answers the questions about the CPU bottleneck. Let's see if you can get this. He says, well, about DB CPU is 90% of database time, and latch is like, the top. Oh, whoops. Can I do that? Oh, interesting. See, I thought it was a live screen right here. Um, it's going off the edge a little bit right here. All right. And this is the demo, so I can't just see what that is. But he's talking about our cache buffer change. He says, hey, since DB, CPU is high compared to database time, it's likely spinning, is doing burn a lot of CPU. And you can ask him like, well, what do you mean by spinning if you're not familiar with that? Okay. I like this high CPU and last contention is the serialization. So serialization, right? When sometimes you have to access Oracle memory structures in a very well-defined one after another, very serial. That's what he's talking about right here. Okay. All right. So let's see what I typed in next here. Oh, that was it. So for that one. So the deal was, hey, you just somebody's making a claim. Can you help me like validate that Shane? Okay. Help me validate that. So he probably would have asked if he would have gone down the next path, he would have asked us, hey, what's the operating system CPU utilization? Okay. And that in conjunction with the latching and that DB CPU, he could have come to some kind of conclusion on that. Okay. And you probably ask him, hey, what's a good, what should I follow up with, or how should I tell my colleagues this? Kind of a typical Chat GPT AI kind of thing. Like how do I talk to people about this? He'll probably do a pretty good job on that. Okay. So the next one, I love this one. Hey, Shane, the vendor told me I need to purchase more CPU power. I'm not sure that's correct. Can you help me? Okay, that's another kind of question. You're getting pressure from somebody and you're not sure how to respond with that. Okay. All right. And boom, and you can just kind of see what Shane's actually telling us right here. Gives you a little bit of info, more CPUs, just more capacity. And a little story here. It's like a bigger cup, more CPUs. I love that. He got that because that's how I usually, more capacity. If you see my classes, Shane kind of knows that. I can sometimes tell where Shane gets the information. It's from my class or my blogs and stuff because I use certain pictures and stories consistently, and I can tell if Shane's actually using that. So you can just kind of read through that, and let's see. I think there's a little bit more. There we go. So now he asked me for the utilization information right here. Okay, so basically, right, this is what we use at our first demo, and the idle is like 86% right here. So he's probably going to say, man, these numbers are chilling like a wave on a glassy morning. He says that's way below the threshold, and I used a 30% threshold. Just so you're way below the threshold to start worrying about the bottleneck. Okay, so he's actually makes the claim CPU ain't the problem, and he tells you why about that. And if you're not comfortable with that, or you're saying, well, can you, whatever you're thinking, just tell Shane that, and you're probably going to get a really good response with that. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to show you can actually use that when somebody's kind of pressing you to do something and you're really not sure if that's a great idea. And it's going to approach it from a total time-based perspective, not just with everything that's written out there on the internet. That's what I like about Shane. Okay, it's really solid like that. Okay, the last thing we're going to take a look at, last demo. So we have any more? Smart enough. Yeah, I always when I think, is he smart enough? I'm like, what is smart? Start asking those deeper kind of questions. All right, so what's this one about? Oh yeah, okay. I'm not even going to tell you. We're just going to see what we're going to do here. Oh, you can see right here, a vendor is pressuring me. So this is this is somebody told me. So this is kind of the steps we've actually gone through. Or I should say the scenarios we've actually gone through. It's right here in my thread history. All right, here we go. On my AWR report, the top weight event is NQ, TX, row lock attention. What does this mean? The user is not pleased with the application performance. And you can just put in there whatever you want, whatever the situation is, just tell Shane about it. So, okay, let's see. Caught in a gnarly wave of row lock contention. Let me break it down. So what's happening? So he tells you like, what does this weight event actually mean? And if you're not convinced, or you want more, you want a little more of a nuance than that, you just ask them about that. Let's see what he says here about the impact on performance. Oh, I was hoping you'd say something like this. The sessions, basically waste time waiting for locks to be released instead of actually doing work. I was hoping he would say something like, because what's happening, when you have a lock or a block, it's like the system has the capability to process what you want to do, but you're like prevented from allowing Oracle to do the processing because of a lock or some kind of a block. And so that's what he's talking about right there. So, all right. So how do we identify the sequel for that? Okay. I don't know. What's he gonna say here? Oh, he goes, here we go. I can't get the top row lock SQL, my application, and so because you just can't get that in an AWR report. It says my application is a concert ticket reservation system. And then I gave him the database time, breakdown, the top wave, all that kind of stuff. And I gave him the CPU utilization. So I just gave him, some of the metrics that once you get used to Shane, you're gonna kind of know what he's going to ask you for, especially on an AWR report. And so I just gave him a bunch of stuff here. And the reason I just did this all at once also is I actually want to drive him to uh, to something else we're going to see him do here in a second. Okay. Okay. He says, all right, ticket reservation system is totally caught in a gnarly row lock contention wave right here. So he kind of mirrors back, what I just told him. Okay. And he actually said, and this is the application nature, a ticket reservation system involves frequent updates to limited seats. So that's prone to row lock contention. Okay. And so he gives me some, some recommendations and some things like that. But what I was really trying to get Shane to do was that there's a new feature in Oracle 26 AI related to locking. And he didn't mention it right here. But I'm pretty sure that if I put the property graph technology into Shane, he'll probably bring that up. But he's not. And which is super frustrating for me, actually, being like the architect of this thing. And so I'm kind of hinting just to see if he's going to be able to do this. Say, hey, are there any new Oracle 26 AI features that can help? Because Shane is aware of all the 26 AI new features. He's aware. I gave him that information, so he should know it, and so he got it. But I had to actually tell him about this. Okay. Now he knew that that I have a ticket reservation systems and I'm dealing with row level locks. So he knows that. And I kind of keyed him into, hey, check out new features related to the whole row locking thing. And he came back with like the perfect answer right here, because these are the new things in 26 AI. Okay. And I asked him a little follow up right here. Tell me more about these priority transactions. And then I literally was thinking, no, that's not what I want to ask him about. I want to know about lock free management. That's more interesting. And then he's going to tell me more about that. Boom. And there you go. So it's pretty cool. So he knows about those new features as well. But I'll tell you, if there is a new feature, he's going to go off of Oracle documentation. He's until we actually have a chance to talk about it, to blog about it, to teach it in a class, Shane's not going to know about that. So, I don't show the actual sources yet. That's something that we'll probably add like on another. I don't want to distract the UI with a bunch of like citations. It'd be nice to have like another page you could bring up, which lists all the citations, so you know where it's coming from. That can actually be helpful for people sometimes. Let's see, we got a question here. Anonymous, will it say which column needs to be made reservable? I don't know the answer to that. That's interesting. You could probably give them the table. You could give them some more information. I don't know. That's something to try out. Yeah. And again, if you're not sure that Shane gets it, or you can ask him, do you need more information? Are you really sure about that? Or like, and if you're not comfortable with his response, like, I don't know if I really buy that, I don't really understand your thought process, just tell him that. right? One thing I've learned with working with LLMs a lot, okay, and especially developing the prompts to give them, because behind all this is a prompt, right? I build the prompt to give to the LLM based on everything, that's going on here, is that if you treat an LLM like a trusted friend or like a colleague, and you're actually working with them trying to solve a problem, like you're trying to help them help you, that kind of thing, there's a lot higher chance of success when you actually do that. So I actually try and type words. I don't purposely misspell. Like I don't try and trick, and this is not just with Shane, but any LM. I don't try and trick it to see if I can make him mess up, because I don't want him to mess up, because I'm trying to solve a problem, right? So I don't want to make it difficult. I want to make it as easy as possible for the AI to help me. And so that's the way I work with these. And so I usually have a pretty good level of success, when I'm working with AI, even though sometimes you get just like crazy stuff. And you still do. I mean, Shane, I haven't seen Shane just like hallucinate, just go off. He shouldn't do that. But sometimes the longer the conversation, the more likely he might just actually kind of go off, and so you might have to steer him back or something like that, or just start a whole new conversation, something like that. um, is it fine? No, it's not. That's good. Does it fine tune? Is it basically fine tuned? Well, okay. I thought of a couple things. Is it a fine tuned model? No, it's not. So when on the back end of Shane, and I could change this at any time, but right, and I've had really good success with Cohere. We're using their latest and best model right now. Okay. So that's why it takes a little bit longer. It used to be quicker, but I used a better model. But I'm doing a lot more back end advanced RAG type stuff from more AI, I'll say, advanced things, and that takes more time for that to take place. So I'm kind of trying, I'm always trying to balance that better response. You don't want to wait around. Okay. And there's expense involved with all this as well. So it's not a fine-tuned model. We're not doing any of that kind of stuff. It's a pure RAG application. Okay. Um, let's see. Does it fine-tune based on the answers we choose? I guess you could say so. Yeah. Yeah, like I'm assuming what you're saying here is that based upon on my response, like if I type stuff in, even if it didn't ask for it, it will it take that into account? Yes. So I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes I just typed in what I wanted to, right? And he kind of asked for it, but not specifically sometimes. I kind of did a little bit of that today. Um, and I haven't seen Shane do something like, "Hey man, that's not what I asked for." I can't see Shane doing something or just going off. In fact, if you try and provoke him, it'd be kind of interesting. Try and provoke Shane. I don't know. We'll see have some fun, mess with Shane, see if you can really get him irritated. It'd be pretty tough for you to get Shane all ticked off. So, um, so the short answer is yes. Yeah. Any other questions? I don't have anything else for it. This is it. All the demos I had for you. I wanted to give you some of the different ways that you could use Shane that you might have thought of, and so that you really understand that Shane is proactive in working with you and will allow you to drive the analysis. Although, or excuse me, you can he will drive the analysis asking you information, but you can also drive it yourself if you want to, right? Or use Shane for a sounding board like we did, like when you're getting pressure or you got this idea and you want Shane just to kind of double check it for you. All right, any other questions? One last question. Oh, why did you not name it Craig? Okay, who sent that, Robbie? Okay. I don't want to be responsible. How about that? I don't know how I actually got the whole Shane thing. I thought I was looking for a surfer name. So yeah. And there's some guy does have like Shane.ai or somebody can actually grab that. So there's actually a guy who has that URL. I don't know. So all right. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're gonna turn back to Coleman. Hey, if you guys have any, hey, by the way, if you have any like weird stuff that Shane goes, or you just think that, Craig might want to know about this, please let me know. Just email me, right? Craig, Craig, at OraPub. that's the easiest way to actually get a hold of me. I will respond because I actually want to know. I'll probably put the property graph stuff in Shane. It's going to be uh, let's see, it's going to be after youth Oracle users. So it's going to be like in April or May. I'll probably put it in. So because I've done it before for demos and stuff like that, and the property graph stuff just rocks, man. So cool. Oh, all right. All right, Coleman, you're on, man. Do you want me to release my screen?
No, thank you so much. Monica should be coming on, and there she is.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. A couple reminders for you. Today's webinar was recorded. It will be posted to nyoug.org as well as to orapub.com. We will email you, so be on the lookout for that. It'll probably come from my team, so we'll just let you know when it's done rendering and posted. Also, if there's any other information Craig wants to share with you, we'll stick that in the email as well. Otherwise, please feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. Something I do want to bring up with Shane AI, I personally always have a million requests from Craig and my team of, man, this is so great. How else can I use a tool like this? For me personally at Viscosity, I get so many HR questions, operational questions. It would be so wonderful if my team had something like Shane I to even just understand our handbook, understand our benefits, all those types of things, and it would offload so many hours of questions from me. So I do
That's
want to
great.
encourage all of you to, while you think about how to use Shane for your performance issues, also think about how a tool like this will help with other day-to-day items within your organization. Such a cool tool. These are just great ways for us to relieve ourselves of little tasks like that all day that you probably don't want to do. So love it so much. Thank you so much, Craig. You do have training coming up, AI training coming up, right? And then you'll
Yeah, about
start
a month from
presenting at
now.
UTUG. Okay.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah, we
anyone
will talk about
is
RAG
in the Salt
systems
Lake
too and
City
graph.
area.
Yeah,
Oh,
all
great.
that's going to be talked about.
Awesome. Okay, so if you guys have questions about that, let us know. But otherwise, you can go to
Mhm.
orapub.com and sign up for it. It does have some cost associated to it. If you are a
Mhm.
paid member of OraPub, you do get a discount. But also ask your boss if you can, get that reimbursed for yourself because it's 3 days, I believe, of great training. And you get all of the recordings and any documentation that you need forever. You'll have access to that forever. So not
Mhm.
only are you paying for the live time with Craig, you're also getting all the resources with that. And then again, if anyone's in the Salt Lake City area, there's UTUG training days coming up. Craig should be there. I'll be there. And then
Mhm.
NYOUG, hopefully we'll have some awesome in-person stuff for you guys too this year. So yay! Thank you. Sorry, it was probably a lot of information.
Perfect.
Good.
Thank you,
Awesome.
everybody, again.
Yes, have a
Thank you,
great
everybody.
Yeah,
take care,
thank you. I
everyone.
appreciate the comments. Really good.
All right. Have a great one, everyone. Take care.